As today we the topic I chose, I saw this even in Rwanda, we kind of talking about it, how Tungweles is now something that people have been really voicing out to see really reduce the capacity, like reduce the amount of like alcohol people are consuming nowadays. So this topic is mostly about alcohol. So let's have the topic displayed and see what people put on social medias.
Yes, so substance abuse among young people is on the rise with more youth turning to drugs and alcohol. What do you think are the main reasons behind the increase, and what solutions do you believe could help reduce substance abuse among youth, and how can families, schools, communities play a role in addressing this issue? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. What do you think are some of the main reasons why the young generation of this today, like especially in Rwanda, because the government really stood up because the numbers were being high. So what are some of the main reasons do you guys think are causing this issue of like many young people like getting involved in like, not only normal alcohol but being excessive and becoming too much at the point where it might hinder their future?
First of all, I don't know if it's a reason necessarily. I don't think I know where it came from, but I feel like one of the main driving inspirations or reasons or motivations for that is, first of all, that alcohol is something that has been normalized a lot, to a point where when you go out with your friends and then they offer you a drink and you're like, you don't drink, sometimes you are even shamed for refusing to drink. So I feel like it has been something that is very normalized, even in the jokes. Turi kuvuga abanyarwanda, like we drink, Burundians. It's something that is so normalized, and I feel like the peer pressure around it, like it's normal for everybody to drink. I feel like it's one of the driving motivation, especially for the youth. They feel like you can't have fun out if you're not drinking, or if you're not at a certain point. Mind-wise, so I feel like
for me, as I said, like peer pressure these days. So I don't know where it came from, of like people who feel like if you drink, you are civilized. If you drink, you are in another level of like, I don't know where that comes from. And then when it reaches with people who are a little bit younger, we are so much influenced by things around us. Sometimes, yes, you can be drinking alcohol, and then that's what you chose. Good for you. But then there's some people who fall into that category who don't like alcohol, and then because of their surrounding, as you said, they end up like being pressured to even drink. Like, yes, you can definitely have fun without alcohol. So I feel like there's that thing of like when you go out with a friend, they're like, oh, if you don't drink, you're not going to have, not going to meet our level of like, of our level of like, having fun. And then something that I also saw is like lack of awareness. I feel like with some young people, especially people who are still young and sensible, who are still like observing everything around us, sometimes we are not aware of who we are, like the situations we are in. Sometimes people get good jobs in some positions, and then they turn up to destroy their careers because of alcohol. You are sometimes I feel like people were not aware. You have this job that you're supposed to be at work maybe early in the morning, and you're supposed to be on time, and you're supposed to have the focus. You're not supposed to, maybe you want to work late, and then maybe I want to be working like 1 is supposed to be at work. But that means if you are supposed to be at work at 1 in the evening, at night, that means hours before you're supposed to be ready and mentally ready for that job. So I feel like so many young people are not aware of like the situations we're in, and then the things that are around us, and sometimes we don't know even maybe you're still at school, you don't have that money to spend at night like that, which means if you're drinking, if you maybe end up being addicted to that alcohol, you might end up throwing yourself into stealing or maybe other ways of like finding the money for you to have that alcohol, and more even drugs per se, which means if you find yourself drawn into drugs and alcohol and you don't have that money. We have seen that even in high school, like not even in universities. Like, universities, most of the people in university tend to, their parents tend to support them, and then the few money they give you, you're supposed to buy your things, your basic needs, and then you don't have that money to spend for alcohol. So if you are into that, you might find ways to get that money, which is not good. So I feel like lack of awareness, even we can talk about also mental health, which is a kind of a thing in our days. People who are dealing with stuff can't throw themselves in drugs and alcohol, which literally doesn't help at all and make the situation worse. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like the alcohol tolerance that people of today are really having has become normalized.
Yeah.
They, like I was telling Darcy, I don't understand how people go out on a Monday. Like Monday, whoever ruined Monday from the beginning of the time really ruined it, because Monday I feel like is only strictly business and work and should not be given the how can I say this? Monday should not be enjoyed is what I need to say. So I don't know how you take yourself from such a...
You should say stuff last time people were clapping.
Like how?
I had just seen it Nandi Darcy. And I'm like, how do you come from a long day of Monday and you're gearing up for the week, and then
You're like, you know what?
let me go and put alcohol in my system, or let me go for enjoyment.
I don't know.
Like, basically, like, that should be left in the weekend. You've had your fun, enjoyment, and then like business as usual on Monday up until Friday, and then you can have a good time in the weekend. So I was saying it has really been normalized to have such a high increase of alcohol consumption. That's why I feel like the government had to take action and like measures, and like when you're a child and your parent is like, you know what, stay home because you have been going out way too much. So they needed to put hours so that at least people are forced to go home. Or if not even that, at least the consumption that you can have at home is not the same as in a bar. And at least you can be safer at home because you don't have to drive. Exactly, side effects and stuff like that. So because I remember in December when they lifted the break, they lifted the rule, the curfew, bro. Not people,
like,
not clubs hosting people at bees. Not people hosting people up until 9 a.m. People are like,
what's that? The intersection of the people coming to the gym at 5 a.m.
Yes.
And then those people who are going home from the club.
December, when they lifted the curfew, is what I'm saying.
Those
That's
parties.
crazy. Yes.
The clubs were having people. No, clubs were gym. Ntabwo umuntu yamenyaga ahantu amasaha ageze. Yararuhaga agasohoka agasanga the sun is saying hi, good morning. Hi, no, it's chaotic. It's chaotic, and it's just like people were given the freedom to just go crazy. Kokundi, you've been enclosed for a minute, and like when you finally have the permission to go out, you go all the way. That's not what that was not the intention, guys.
That was not.
It really was not, but it was really needed because it's just too much. People are finding any excuse to drink, and one of the things that is contributing to this is the fact that there are so many bars opening up right now, but people are finding enjoyment as a means of survival more and more. So if you are, let's say, a DJ and you are playing at a specific area, you're not gonna play some music without people drinking and stuff like that. And so people have normalized the fact that you can only have fun if there is a substance in your system. That's either drugs or alcohol. And I feel like you said, it's now being shunned upon to not drink, which is really not fair, because you can be able to drink and that's on you, that's a choice you've made, but I don't feel like it's right for people out there to shun others for not drinking, for choices, because now it's like, oh, you don't drink?
Yeah,
How do you
like, at
survive?
least have one
How
drink.
do you have
at
fun?
At least have this. At least taste my. I said I do not fun.
Exactly, and you know,
and then you end up being mad, and then you're not enjoying anymore because people are just pressuring you and looking at you in a weird
the bad thing about that, y'all need to understand that you can easily be someone's reason of addiction.
Yes.
Because people have different bodies, people have different systems, people have different coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
So my alcohol tolerance is not the same
not
as
the
Christian's,
same.
it's not the same as Darcy's. So the fact that she doesn't drink, it might be her way or God's way of saving her from one day drinking and never stopping.
Yes.
Because people actually have different ways in which they can control themselves. Like the same, there's being addicted, but there's also not being able to control yourself. I can have 2 drinks and I'm so fine. A person can have
2 drinks,
2 shots and they're falling.
The whole world is.
And so why would you want to be responsible for someone embarrassing themselves? So if someone says they do not drink, please respect their wishes.
Yeah.
You do not want to be the reason to why someone is out there falling, or you don't want to be the reason behind someone's the beginning of someone's alcohol journey. Yeah. So it's, you really don't want that on
Beginning of
your
the story.
CV.
This person helped me to start.
Yeah, so there's so many reasons to why people are. Number one is just peer pressure. And FOMO, fear of missing out these days. You're like, oh my God, someone is going out. And sometimes you just don't want to, exactly, you're not there. And sometimes you don't want to be out there and not drink. So you're like, oh my God, I have to drink.
Even like
And then you go.
Snapchats.
And that
social
also takes
media,
a huge
like
toll
you-
on the financial stability of the
Yes.
youth. Because the little money you have,
You're spending
you're
it on
like,
alcohol.
you know what, I'll just go, for them to basically see that I'm on the same level as them.
And you're
then you can't-
spending, and
Yes.
the amount of money that you have is not the same as
the other
the
people
other
you
person,
are with,
yeah.
and then your ego will not allow them to keep paying for you. Now you're paying for them. Now you don't have any ticket to go to apply for jobs, because I doubt someone who has that much time even has a job. So I feel like also unemployment plays a huge
Yeah.
role, because you have enough time to like.
Yes.
By the way,
And like you have enough time
to
to go out on a Sunday night. You don't have to wake up early on Monday.
Yeah,
Exactly. So
I
that
feel
plays
like,
a
yeah,
huge
I feel like
role.
that is that. It's not even about unemployment. I mean, like we are not that
Busy
busy.
enough.
Like even people
Yeah.
who have jobs. Like of course, there's some of like we do have like a 9 to 5 job, and then you are done. Then some people now have like remote jobs. You are staying home and then you are getting your money. Not even about that. People have jobs that are more flexible. You can go to work tomorrow, then the next day you don't go to work, which means you have enough time. Like I've seen this like pressure on Snapchat. Yeah, because I feel like Instagram is more fancy. You don't see things there. Like Snapchat, you can even be sleeping normally, and then you know you have work in the morning. Like let me stay home, whatever. Then you just open someone's Snapchat. You see them enjoying
You're
life.
like, I'm missing
FOMO,
out.
as you say, like missing out. Like, what am I? Don't I have friends? Am I that bad for me not to be out?
But let me
like
tell you
other friends?
something I have realized. I feel like Rwandans love to enjoy themselves. They love going out. They're very outgoing. So I feel like if there was something that could reduce the amount or the numbers of bars out there and increase water parks and other things that people can actually go to in the day and just enjoy themselves, I feel like these numbers would reduce.
Alcohol
'Cause I
friendly like spaces.
Yeah, like we lack a lot of we lack varieties of places to go and enjoy ourselves and like, you know, have
everything
fun.
is like alcohol.
Everything,
bars.
when you think of going out, the only place you can go out to is either a restaurant or a bar. There's very
I know
few
what you
places, which I feel like is good because, that's not good. I mean, the new places of games and everything, people have, varieties.
Yeah,
What do
more.
you think should be the solutions?
I feel like first of all, reducing the unemployment rate is number one, which is what the government and the people who have been sworn in to parliament and the deputies are trying to tackle. That's one of their main things. Because let me tell you, one thing I understand is I'm always grateful for my job and always grateful that I don't have so much time to indulge into such activities, which is one thing I believe can really save these people. If they are not so adamant and they have less time on their hands and they're busy, they definitely will be too tired to want to spend a night, all night up until like 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. at a club or a bar, and like they have work the next day. So having a job will definitely contribute to the reduction of alcohol consumption, especially amongst the youth, because that's what really contributes to them really being out and about. That's one. And two, just understanding that this is just a cycle. It's just the same thing is happening every weekend. There's not really much to miss out on. So just if you could skip one weekend and go out the other, I'm sure
you will find the same.
You know, the thing about it's the same people in Kisii,
the same faces,
same bars, same DJs, same music guys, because they're not creating music every second.
The person you miss today, you might see him next week. There's no
Azabahari, same spot, same location. So honestly, it's just a mind battle and making sure that you are content with staying at home or having a less toxic environment to be in. I'm sure you will be fine. It's just mind over matter, because some of these things you just need to deal with yourself. Just because like I said, or like we said, it's all the same thing. So if you understand that if today you don't do that, it's always going to be there. So you just need to understand that you're not going to miss out so much, because fear of missing out is an actual thing which actually intimidates people to go out. And social media, the updates, be running wild. Like, gone are the days where invitations used to be paper. Like these days, you just see a post, someone is DJing at a place, this location is gonna be lit, and you're there the next hour.
What Christian said, you see those like stories and like Instagram stories or even on Snapchat, 22-year-olds, 20-year-olds are out there just drinking and passing bottles, and you're like,
what's up with my life?
What's going on?
At least 22-year-old legal drinking age. 18-year-olds. 19.
For me, the solution is, I think now, well, Rwanda is, we're at a good track. We're doing well with Tungwale's campaign, and then more things to come, as Dusty said, yes, and the curfew, like more friendly, like free alcohol friendly zones where you can't have any alcohol, spaces like that, people can go and have fun without alcohol. And I feel like also there's things that we don't talk about, like mostly people who, I saw this on TikTok, people who go into alcohol and then they throw themselves into drugs. Mostly they have something that they're running out from. Because you can drink one or two, that's okay, but people who go beyond the normal, beyond the start of like drinking alcohol, and then they find them passing out, and then where they can't stop is because they're running away from something. So I feel like we need to also be aware and also like talk about our issues, like the mental health with this generation we're in is so important. We have like struggles at home, we have like parents, whatever, things that are going on in our personal life that sometimes drag us into and leave us into alcohol and drugs. So important for us to like tackle our feelings, really face them, and then know what we are dealing with, because I feel like that's the most important. And with therapy, I don't know, I feel like there's some ways maybe the government and the institutions, Minister can really find ways to help in terms of like therapy for young people, and then make it our culture to really deal with our issues earlier enough, other than like finding the solutions of like, substance abuse, which is mostly the first thing like young people go to when they're going through like huge issues in their life.
Yes, and we also need to talk about the consequences of like excessive consumption of substances. Do you understand that you're hindering your progress in like the professional world? Because when you are unable to wake up on a Monday morning and let's say you start your day in the afternoon, people, early birds are out there getting the worm and they're getting ahead of you. So while you're enjoying your weekend, you are reducing your ability to make a mark in the professional world, or you are prolonging your ability to make a mark in the professional world. And so that person who forgoes the urge to go out is going to be up at 6 a.m., either hit the gym, and at 8 they're at work. Your boss is going to notice that person as opposed to you, who comes into work looking and feeling so drained, and it's Monday.
And you can't even think of anything, you can't give any ideas. It's just like...
People used to say that, like when we were like in high school, like waking up early is so important.
It's really
But now that's when I realized it. Like people who go back to back out and drunk and blackout back to back, people don't think. You actually don't think about your life. You're like back to back. You have work
they live
that
in
is
the now.
Yes.
Even
They don't
when you're
really-
talking about when you're talking to them, there is no like real ideas.
Yes, that comes
They
out of
just
them.
like-
It's so important. Darcy, what do you think?
The
About
solution.
the consequences that some people don't talk about mostly?
I feel like it's the same thing, but also in terms of solution, I do agree with you guys. I feel like, first of all, on the therapy thing, I feel like they need to, the government can help us to make it
Find
more
healthier ways to
accessible.
cope,
Yeah, healthier ways to cope, but also raise awareness, because I feel like there's this thing of thinking that therapy is not really necessary, especially in African countries, you know. So I feel like that's the main thing, because I also feel like the going to alcohol or going to the drug abuse is a way of coping with problems in an unhealthy way.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they go to. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we do have also some videos that we got from social media where we can we get to download and see what are people are saying on social media on this topic, some of the effects of alcohol, and then the people who have gone through that. Was some experience for you guys to, if you're really struggling with alcohol addiction, to know where you stand and how you can cope with that. So let's have the videos, then I'll be right back.
What changed when you got sober and you gave up alcohol? What changed?
What changed? Everything. Everything had to change. I would say one of the biggest things that changed, actually, because you might have heard me say this somewhere before, but I didn't just make one attempt at trying to get sober and then it was sort of done. I made several attempts. I relapsed 7 times. And I count these 7 times because they were times when I was brought to my knees and I had to make a decision about my life. And I tried to curate my social circle to only meet certain people at certain times of the day. I tried to not go out at all. I tried to read certain things and just to understand what was happening. I tried so hard all of these times, but there were many other times where I woke up hungover, not knowing where I am, not knowing if I've had sex with the person next to me or not, just feeling internally that I have to apologize for something, but I don't even know what I've done. Just this constant anxiety, which was also somewhat addictive because there was like an adrenaline attached to it and it was familiar. But 7 times I relapsed, and the 8th time everything changed because I was no longer shaming myself. I was no longer making myself bad for this cycle, this destructive cycle that I was in for so long. I started to get curious. I wanted to know what is actually happening to me on even a brain-based level. How does alcohol operate within my body? So I started looking at the entire thing almost more objectively than just looking at it as a me issue. And then my social circle had to change. I had to start from the very beginning. To be honest, the very few people that were left were the people that held a mirror up to me, but people, places, and things, all of that had to change completely. I had to reevaluate and redefine my idea of fun, because for me, fun had always included alcohol and partying and drugs and everything that came with it. My environments had to change for a very long time. I couldn't be around alcohol. And I think this happens for a lot of people when they first stop drinking. Your senses are so heightened and you can smell a glass of wine from 3 tables from you. So my environment had to change. But I think the biggest thing was my mindset. I had to become a non-drinker. I had to really think as a non-drinker, what's my life philosophy? As a non-drinker, what are the places that I go to? As a non-drinker, who are the people that I have around me? Because I had associated with being a drinker for such a long time that I had to do some very deep work on an identity level. So everything had to change.
Hey guys, I've been getting this consistent voice telling me to just talk about alcoholism among the youth. And despite me going to rehab, me taking sober breaks, like getting counseling, I've really struggled with alcoholism. And I know for a fact I'm not alone. We have people through my DMs and just observation who's struggling to stay sober. Over drinking, blacking out is not normal. It might be normalized, but it's not normal. And I can tell you from experience, alcohol is such a waste of body and mind. I messed up my nerves. I got peripheral neuropathy. I think alcohol neuropathy. They twitch involuntarily if I'm hungover or over drink. It's not a good experience, trust. Stop drinking. I messed up my eyes, my liver. My psychiatrist told me, if you don't stop drinking, this liver away. Shout out to her though, she's amazing. I used to hallucinate, have nightmares and see like scary faces. There were times I knew that I couldn't even sleep because it's just gonna be nightmares and I'll keep jumping in my sleep. My experience in rehab, I saw a lot. People would just wake up and scream. And you might really think this can never happen to me. This was happening to 25-year-olds, 26-year-olds. Legit brain damage. And no matter how small brain damage is, it accumulates over time. You can lose your motor skills, coordination skills. It's really not worth it. I messed up my eyes. And alcohol is a depressant, by the way. So if you're already struggling with your mental health because of your traumatic experiences, it literally just makes it worse. Whenever you're drunk, something called GABA in your brain is reduced. And basically GABA is an inhibitor that stops you from doing stupid stuff. It's the reason why you wouldn't walk out of your apartment naked. But when you're drunk, it's reduced. So lazima uchome. And honestly, it's really just gonna make your anxiety worse. Another thing is like your relationships would suffer, your money's gonna suffer. Personally, I was a spendthrift. And when I used to hear people say addiction is selfish, I was like, no, but I'm going through it. It actually is. As much as it's a disease, it's a choice. And the proof is in the people who have been drinking for years and changed their life, decide to go sober. People who just woke up one day and said, enough is enough. What makes you different from those people? And if it wasn't for God, I don't know where I would be, guys. What he has done for me. I mean, he saved me from a trail of self-destruction that I never thought I would come out of. I mean, I was drinking on the daily, bruv. And the quality in alcohol just kept going down. I went from like quality alcohol to cheap liquor as much as 100 bob. And oftentimes it's just a symptom of something else that's underlying. I encourage us to go to the root of our suffering. I saw on Lydia KM's Instagram, she has therapists who are doing like 1,000 bob, 1,500. If you are in a position to afford it, please go for counseling. My therapist told me that it's just a mindset and a perspective that needs to be made aware of. And trust me, bro, you're never too far gone. If you really truly love yourself, push for change. I remember we were doing a unit in non-communicable and communicable diseases. Do you guys know how many diseases are caused by alcohol? Literally, most of the cancers, diabetes, hypertension, kidney failure, things that, bro, once you get liver, and you never get another liver. What I'm saying is alcohol is not a bad thing. It's okay to have a drink or two. My issue is it when you use it as an escape, as your hobby, as your entertainment. Hauna hobbies zingine. You're waiting for Friday to reach so you can go out. Find other hobbies, guys.
So I'm here to report to you that they are right. They're right. All the people that said that if you stop drinking alcohol, your face will change, they're right. I haven't drank alcohol this whole entire year. So that's what, 3 months now? And my skin, it's that time of the month for me, y'all. It's that time of the month for me. So I'm just letting y'all know where my skin should be and where it's currently at. My double chin is vanishing, okay? My bone structure, my jawline, I thought I needed fillers and Botox. My under eyes, y'all, I had dark, more sunken under eyes. If you look at some other videos, I thought I needed Botox and filler. I just needed to stop drinking alcohol.
Yeah,
Yes.
those are some of people's experiences and their opinions on what needs to be done and what they've gone through.
Yes, and we do have some comments from you guys. We've always loved to hear from you. So let's start with our first comment and see what you guys said. Yes.
The main causes as young people use the substance just to fit in with the peers. True. Sheja also says, as a solution, young people need to be encouraged to participate in different creative programs. That's nice. Thank you for giving us a solution. Who else? Kevin Deborah says, reason it may be their family or their community. How can dissolve it to educate people? Who else? Just Quinn says, to begin with, why do they take them? I believe poor mental health can serve as an underlying cause. Okay, Vanessa Irakoze says the reasons are depression, lack of jobs, high living costs, family issues. I don't know the solution. Who else? Blaze says social media is the first thing that accelerates it, where you see kids wanting to be millionaires at 25. Okay. Jotam says this is a cause that he pointed out, the disturbingly high amount of pressure put on the youth. Okay. Blaze says the solution is that families need to sit them down and tell them how the world works and get that experience. Okay. A reality check is what he's saying. Aimable Freeman says youth in Rwanda have been given freedom that is overrated. Rwanda must choose culture over freedom. I think the government is already doing something towards reducing the amount of freedom. Mugabo Rwanda says, as a youth, I think there is problems inside their families, and I think we don't know
The solution.
I don't know what they meant by that. Blaise says, and yet they aren't ready to work that hard to get it. They just want to snap fingers and boom, I'm a millionaire. That's the continuation of his statement. So yeah, I think that's it for the comments that we had. Thank you for the insights, the causes of what you think the accelerated alcohol consumption or drugs is in Rwanda, and also solutions, possible solutions that can be advanced or that can be used. So I think, yeah, such conversations need to be had. That's where we can start for people to understand the underlying causes and also possible solutions to be implemented, and that's the way to go.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So